something I never did pre-pandemic was to just go out and have drinks. Very rarely. Like I usually ended up at home at someone's place and had their wine. Now I'm like, you know what? When I can, I'm gonna go out and get all those dorky umbrella drinks.
Yes.
Like I'm gonna order Sex on the Beach.
Guys, we should just go to, once stuff is open, we should just go to a wine bar, get absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
Dude, there's one in we're in New York, by the way, in case anyone didn't pick that up from
Not in Sweden.
not in Sweden, not in
Shocking.
somewhere else in America. We're in New York fucking city, the best city in
baby.
the whole world.
Yeah, come at us, other cities.
Yeah.
We're gonna take you on.
Yeah.
We're the Big Apple.
1v1 fight.
My dad's gonna fight your dad.
And
Oh,
he's
I was just gonna
win.
fight.
Oh.
My aunt's gonna fight your aunt.
Bring your aunts.
Yep. But there is a wine bar in Long Island City.
Okay.
That's probably the coziest damn bar I've ever been to, and I'm gonna take you guys there. They have a jazz, like live jazz, and it's so undiscovered. Maybe it won't be after this episode.
We're gonna
Don't
we're
say
gonna
the
put this
name.
place on the
Exactly.
fucking map.
I think unfortunately the name is Wine Bar.
All right, let's dress up and go there.
Yeah.
They'll never find it.
It was the last bar I went to before shutdown.
Oh.
So I will forever be in my dreams. However, now I'm also sad because if I Google it, perhaps it did.
Shut down.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
that's
the nice thing about wine bars is you can just get wine and sit down in your house.
This is so true, but I do
like
know
spending $15 on a glass.
a glass of shitty Chardonnay. No, I think I agree with you, Ellie. There's something nice in the future vision of me,
Yeah.
like just getting drinks with my friends,
Yeah.
like get
No,
silly
it's true.
cocktails.
Flirting with the bartender,
Flirting
even though
with the-
I'm already married.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love to flirt with
dangerous.
the bartender. I don't.
Who's usually 30 years older than me, especially at this wine bar. So I'm
They're all
not sure I'm interested at all.
sommeliers.
That's
Some bartenders.
I feel like it's funny because I don't really miss. I suck more than like a bar and seeing my friends.
Yeah.
Just like missing travel is like the biggest thing for me.
I feel so strongly about that too. And I think I never felt like I was a person who was like, well, I love to travel. Even though I did. I always felt it was a cliche thing to say. But I think in recognizing and realizing my privilege of being able to travel and having opportunities. And like, I've been to Japan as well.
Yeah.
Love Japan. Would love to go back.
Okay, well, it's not a competition.
Okay. No.
I'm giving you shit.
But I mean,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. Once you have expanded yourself culturally and like been to other places, I love to travel. Like
Yeah.
I miss
I
being somewhere new.
genuinely think it's the one sure way of staying young. Someone said like the longevity, it seems to be a lot of rich people's thing nowadays.
Yeah.
Of like, how do I not die? But they say that like
Keep
getting-
traveling. If you don't stop, the Reaper will never get you.
Rich people
Exactly.
love to not die. Let me
You
tell
know where death can't follow you? The airplane.
Death
No
is
one-
afraid of airplanes.
no one ever died while traveling.
No one ever died on a plane.
Exactly.
Knock on
Oh
wood.
God.
But no, it's like always challenging yourselves and your beliefs. Otherwise, you'll end up eventually getting so set in your own ways, and that will
Yeah.
age you.
Speaking of getting set in your ways and your systems of belief when you are confined to certain areas of the world, I seem to remember we were in a town at the edge of the known Norse universe.
And there was something going on there. Something a little out of the ordinary.
fishy or
Something
icy, ice fishy.
Ice fishing. They were
Wait.
probably.
Are you talking about the adventure we're doing in my Vassen game?
Yeah.
Not no, Ellie. Not no.
When,
Oh, whoa, that was
Not
a
no.
cool segue, man.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Ellie, for pointing out Anne's really smooth segue and then talking about it. And now I'm talking about
That's why they
it.
call me
And now I'm gonna
Smooth
say
DiLorenzo.
scene on this segue.
And scene.
scene.
Great job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, something I did find very fascinating.
I'm gonna get nominated for an Ellie this year.
Yeah.
I hope I get an Ellie.
Yeah,
I hope we
wanna
both get
an
Ellies.
You'll never get Ellie's.
Wow. It's funny because I saw in your mind your world in which you get to create an award show expanded in your mind, and you realize how fucking important you were going to be
How
in the
powerful.
universe and how you could tell us no. You could take us on this magical journey and then be like, fuck you. I'm the person. I'm the best.
You know
and
who
you're
gets
terrible.
an Ellie every year?
Ellie.
But
This game show's rigged.
exactly.
Award show.
It's always so political, the Ellies.
Oh yeah,
I know.
Oh yeah, I wanted to. Yeah, part of me is like I hate conflict and I hate like pissing people off. But
You know what does that award?
but I'm also having like I have this idea that I want like a cult following.
How cultish.
I want like people to fight for me, but then I'm also like, no. I also want to disappear in the north and never talk to anyone ever again.
And this is why Ellie GMs.
Speaking of disappearing in the north,
wait, are you
this is
talking
my
about my Vesson
second
game?
Oh
attempt.
my God.
Jesus Christ.
Are you guys talking about that podcast, The Lost Mountain? It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, you should download
Where
it.
is that mountain?
LostMountainSaga.com.
Which mountain?
I think the funniest plug to do is your own podcast in the podcast that people are listening to.
That's
Hey,
the reach you can't buy.
in case you guys haven't heard of this, I would suggest listening to it. Stop what you're doing. Pause this.
Yeah.
Go listen to The Lost Mountain.
So Henrik, still pretty broken.
I'm on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lieutenant covered in blood. You lost another person. The reverend, super utterly useless in this entire combat. And then we have the heroine.
It's me.
Astrid.
I did it.
I was gonna say Thor, the dog.
Yeah, Thor the dog, hero to all.
But so the villagers they thaw and they and everyone's looking very disoriented until they start remembering. And then they see you and they look at you with confusion and suspicion. But you pick up the gem.
Yeah.
Nothing seems to be weird about it, but perhaps you might put it in your pocket.
She's gonna pop. She takes it and she looks at it, and that's when she realizes all these people have thawed, and they're just like a million new eyes and new problems / opportunities for trouble. And she pockets it immediately in her big coat. I like to imagine that they have these like big winter coats. Astrid has like a mantle of furs across like her shoulders and across her front. She then looks around and realizes that Henrik is not one of the people checking on anybody, and she figures out where you are and comes over and like, sorry, what happened? Are you hurt?
Henrik is bleeding out of his right ear, and
It looks fine.
and he's sort of like grasping towards you, but
Yeah.
like is very dazed, and he's just
Yeah.
like, Astrid.
Yeah, I'm here.
And he goes, what happened?
She's gone.
Where'd she go? We gotta get her.
No. Okay. All right. Well, they wouldn't say.
He tries to get up.
And she says, no. All right. Stop tensing up.
Am I tense?
No.
Ah.
It's too funny.
Before you get further into it, you
Yeah.
hear a scream of agony.
Oh.
And you turn around and you see the young woman who had been standing up.
Oh, right. Yeah.
She's now kneeling next to the remnants of what can be assumed was her love.
Yeah. Astrid sort of like takes your hand and says, I'll be back. Just, you're fine. This will be well. And she sort of like carefully, tentatively makes her way towards the woman, slinging the bow kind of like over her shoulder, so she's not like, hey, I'm armed.
Yeah.
Let me frighten you more. And she says, I am so terribly sorry for your loss.
She's not registering your presence.
Yeah.
She's basically trying to, how do you cradle
Yeah.
someone's head? Like, it's just such like, she's not coherent at all,
Yeah.
and is completely ignoring you, and it's
Yeah.
basically just moving back and
Yeah.
forth. But a man walks up to you, who used to be frozen.
Right.
And he's been trying to sort of calm everyone down, and so you can
Yeah.
assume that this might be some sort of leader of the village or I don't know, mayor.
She immediately gets up and like in a defensive position in front of this woman as he approaches.
Yeah. He doesn't necessarily look threatening,
Yeah.
but he walks up to you and tries to understand.
Yeah.
What happened here?
Well, your entire town was frozen.
No, I know that, but what happened to... And he looks at the throne. Oh no. Is she... And he it's as if he's praying. He
Yeah.
makes like a short, like, some sort of praying for himself. Is she gone?
Her power was greater than anyone could have foreseen. But it was a power that brought only death to anyone who came here.
He nods. Another woman. You killed her.
Yes, I did.
Henrik at this point has like gotten up.
Yeah.
He's no longer broken, so
Yeah.
like he can move. He's only wounded now.
Yeah.
And he kind of hobbles over towards Astrid and stands next to her also,
Yeah.
like just in case people start freaking out.
She says, I did.
And there's murmuring. Not necessarily cheering, but not necessarily any hostility either.
Yeah, she's gonna take out her necklace, which is just like a Norse symbol, and she like lets it hang out over her coat, and she says, I understand what it is to challenge this reaching Christianity. I understand what it is to embrace the old ways, but you must choose very, very carefully who you dedicate your life force to, who you dedicate your service to.
He nods. I think everyone is still in some sort of shock.
Yeah.
We are most grateful for your help. Thank you. I hope you will forgive us if we cannot offer you a more pleasant welcome. But I believe our village shall need a couple of days to heal from all of this. But please make yourself at home. We would like to repay you. But now, if you will excuse me.
Astrid is like, it looks like she's getting huffy. I would say not. I mean, reasons aren't important, but it looks like she's getting frustrated with his response, but then just sort of takes a deep breath and just a resigned sigh, and she just turns to Henrik and says, I don't need his forgiveness. I think there's one person who deserves an apology. Two people, really. And she like glances behind them at the woman who's mourning her lost love, and she just kind of like shakes her head wordlessly.
A couple of women picks up the girl, helps her get away from there. A couple of men carefully picks up the remnants and tries to put it in some sort of sheet. But nothing more really seems to happen that day. And a few days go by. They manage to put you up in the inn that's in the village. Henrik, you get a couple of days to properly heal up with Dorothea's care. Nothing really changes. The villagers seems to work fast, so you get back to normalcy, but also the weather quickly changes for the better. The wind starts blowing again, the ice breaks up, and in a couple of days the ship finally breaks away from the ice. It's still winter, so it's not like a pleasant summer day, but
it's not preternaturally cold.
Yeah.
Now we're in Norway, right?
If anyone wants to look it up, it's called Lofoten of Norway. It's and it's an island outside Island Sørland. I don't know if it's part of Lofoten, but it's like in that area.
I'll also say Henrik asks the Reverend and the soldiers on the ship to take the woman and her child's body off the ship and return it to the village and just say, like, we found her. If you bury her how you would like, basically. And I think Henrik also asked the Reverend to, like, go talk to the woman whose love had died and just do whatever type of burial she wants to do for him.
Yeah.
If they want to do a burial.
Yeah, they all agree upon having burials for everyone who passed. So they set up like a small little memorial site for everyone they lost. And then they invite you to a farewell dinner, which is a little bit of an awkward affair because you find out soon that you have nothing in common with these people. Astrid tried to probably make some conversations about like spirituality, and they're just like, cool,
bro.
But not really interested in
Henrik
hearing
talks
what you have
about
to say.
academics, and they're like, we don't fucking care.
Yeah, exactly. These are fishing people, simple fishermen, and who have lived in a certain way for what you can assume thousands and thousands of years. But eventually, it's time for you to head back. And as you return to your ship, you walk through the docks. And the whole village is there. They've gathered.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all dressed in black. And they're looking at you with these weird smiles. And you can see that the man from captivity is also standing among them now.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting very, very uncomfortable from these people now. And
That's probably fine.
Yeah. Dorothea whispers to you, Astrid, I shall not be sad to get off this damn island. As you wave to the weirdos.
Yeah, Astrid is just kind of like stands there for a long time, like before boarding, just looking at them sort of the same way she looked at the madhouse. Just being like, well, that's on that end of the spectrum. That's where this path leads.
I think Henrik does some snuff and just turns around and mumbles, you know, like, he can't change people, and walks away.
And you set sail. Captain Haddock is calling out commands, and you're heading back to civilization. And as you look back, you see the entire village still standing there looking at you. No one is waving, just standing there, staring. And eventually they disappear in the horizon. And you're back on the boat.
Astrid drinks so much alcohol.
So does Henrik.
Yeah, and she kind of like takes up a conversation between Henrik and we'll say the priest, the Fons, Fonzito, at some point, and just says, I mean, I think we can all agree it's not strictly normal, the reaction, the send-off that we had, right? But did it mean us harm? I mean, how much harm can a group of people all making a concerted effort to hate you do?
And you're talking to Fons, right?
Yeah, Fons and Henrik.
Fons is thinking about it, and he's like, well, like I said before, certain people in certain situations, they tend to act in the same way, and it's not necessarily about what they believe in, it's more about how. And I've seen this before happening with isolated communities. That's why it's so important to pivot back to our pre-banter talk, traveling. And I do not wish them any harm. This could have gone really bad. The fact that not more people died, I think we should see as a success. And I'm sorry I couldn't be more of help. And you can sort of tell that he's been reading his Bible a little bit more frantically the past few days. Probably maybe a little challenged.
Yeah.
And thinking maybe Astrid has a point. I mean, he just saw something that is not Christian.
Yeah.
Right.
Or maybe maybe he'll find a reason in the Bible to think that it is Christian.
She sort of like takes his hand when he says that and squeezes it. I felt a guiding hand that I would not have felt had you not been there. I felt comforted, and whether that was because I had confidence in my gods or in yours, it doesn't really matter, does it?
It does not. And he pats your hand.
Yeah.
And I think Henrik has been quiet even in like the days recovering and stuff, and he's a bit more somber than he usually is.
Poor Henrik.
Yeah, I mean, like really like a brush with death. Like, he was not doing well. And I think he's sitting amongst you guys and he's listening, you know, and sort of nodding along. And then he gets up and he goes, all right, well, good night. I'd like to get some reading done. I'll see you tomorrow. And he heads to his room in the ship, and I would like to read the Darkness Surrounds Me book.
Yeah. Right.
That he brought along. It was the one we found, right?
Yeah. But not the Satan one.
No.
Okay.
But he did bring that one too.
Yeah.
Even though Astrid had said, "Don't read it," he like carries it with him, and he's like, "I'm gonna read it one night. I'm just gonna do it." But he wants to read it because he's thinking about the author of that book was from Norway. And I think what's going through Henrik's mind, Henrik is not religious and fell out of Christianity back in Ireland, and like hasn't been religious since. And basically in Henrik's mind, and especially because of like the site and Vass and stuff, he's like, there are no gods. Like, what cruel god would allow these types of things to happen? So he's very much like listening to this conversation, and you're like, the old gods, and the Reverend's like, you know, my Christian god, and Henrik's just like, there's no fucking gods out there.
Gods.
Yeah, he's like, you're fools.
Yeah.
But he wants to read this book because the author's from Norway, and he kind of just wants to make more sense of like, maybe they're like
belief
these
system.
fishing people. Yeah, like what's going on with people. So yeah, I would like to start reading that book on the trip back.
Yeah. And what you learn a little bit more and more seems to be that this the man who wrote this is actually from Denmark, but he moved to Norway, or he's rumored to have gathered like-minded people in Norway. But Christensen, right?
Morten Christensen, who was a he's Danish originally, antiquarian.
So what you get the sense from this book is that he seems to be also sort of a cultist, but similar to Astrid, believing in the Vasen of like how do we get the most out of these Vasen as possible? Like how can we kind of like, not at all similar to Astrid actually, but like in more of a selfish approach to like, if you give Vettir this thing, they will give you this, like a transactional, have like a transactional relationship with Vasen.
Interesting.
So you get a slight sense that this is not your guy, so to speak.
Okay.
But the next day, when you guys are having breakfast, someone knocks on your cabin, and it's Dorothea.
Hey, buddy.
What's up?
What's going on?
I may need to talk to the two of you. Can you come with me?
Of course.
And she leads you to her room. And in there you see the young woman from the chapel.
Oh, she brought her.
Well, maybe.
What is going on, Dorothea?
I found her. She was hiding in one of the storage rooms. I've been trying to treat her and give her some food. And without hesitation, this girl says, "Can I come with you?"
Yeah, Astrid kind of falls to her knees in front of this girl, like not like falls prostrate in front of her, but like takes a knee in front of her, and she has tears in her eyes, and she says, "I am so glad to see you here."
Astrid.
You would have left her? That was my biggest regret, was leaving her behind as soon as I saw them gathered on the shore like that.
The girl looks at Henrik and thinking like, "Oh, they're married? Oh, sir, I can pay. I have money. I have..."
No. How old are you?
And then she's lying. 16?
How old are you?
13?
She's
12?
old enough
No.
to know.
How old are
Jesus
you?
Christ, girl.
She's
She's old enough to know she wasn't safe.
Astrid, she's not old enough to board a ship to a land she's not from. Where's your family? What about them?
They're back there. They wouldn't understand. And she starts telling you what's actually going on in this village.
Oh, yeah.
So every year, one boy from the village would be chosen to be the tribute to the Lady of the Cold. And it was considered to be the greatest honor. And the boy would be groomed for a whole year in preparation for the winter solstice, when the Lady of the Cold would return from the sea. What actually happens to these boys is unknown, but they never come back. The mother always grooms the boy to be prepared. But this year, the boy that was chosen was already in love with this young woman, Anita, and they were planning to escape the village together. But during the night of the winter solstice, the villagers found out that they were planning. I mean, they're preteens basically. They were not able to escape, and the tribute and ceremony went through as it always did and have been for so many centuries. But the Lady of the Cold saw through this, saw that his heart did not belong to her, and she ripped him apart. Right in front of the entire village. The village did nothing to stop her, except the young girl standing in front of you. They will never change. She will come back and this will happen again and again. You can't change them. You can't change them, but I can leave. Please. Please don't send me back.
Henrik, after hearing the story and better understanding...
Some of us just naturally understand people, Henrik. It's okay. No.
Astrid, if you say woman's intuition one more time, I swear. Henrik feels horrible, obviously, like this terrible, terrible situation. Yeah. And he's also kneeling now and listening, and he says, of course you shouldn't go back. I'm so sorry that you saw what you saw, and you can stay, and I look over at Astrid, at Castle Gillenkreutz.
Look at you, it's your first invitation.
Astrid.
Sorry.
It's safe there. It's a hotel. You don't have to pay. Get a job. You know, you can work in Castle Gillenkreutz if you want. We could hire you as a maid.
Yeah, and Dorothea also is listening to this. I actually need an assistant in the office.
That's much better.
That's much better, honestly.
That's in Bergen, though. But
that's actually much better. You know, I said you're doing Astrid. You know, I said it like, oh, you could work at Castle Gillenkreutz. That's a bad idea.
Well, I really don't think it is a bad idea. But what I think is good is you learning a trade that will serve you best. And I think what Dorothea is offering is clearly
you're more
superior.
than a maid. You're more than a maid. Yeah. I was aiming
Maids
low.
are people too, but
well,
yes.
You're right. I'm digging myself a big
Maid
deep
work
hole,
is work, yeah.
aren't I? All right. You are doing a better job of talking to her.
Right.
Women's intuition.
Yep.
And he does some
Once
more stuff.
again, you said it, not me. So here's what I think should happen. No.
I'm going to look out at the horizon and smoke a pipe.
That's all men are good for.
I'm a stupid
and
man.
Captain Haddock is standing there just...
I'm walking back inside. I don't want to talk to Haddock. Henrik looks at Haddock and goes, I'm not going to be like you.
This is going to be a long trip because saying something like that to somebody and
the
you're
captain
on a
of
boat.
the ship. I can't go. Yeah, I say that and I turn around. I'm like, ah, damn it, I can't walk anywhere.
Where can I go? I don't know where to put my hands.
But yeah, no, he agrees with Astrid, and he thinks being an assistant to Dorothea would be a good position.
Good move. And of course, you're always welcome should you want to explore more of the kind of work that we do and help other people like you, people who have suffered in, well, many different ways when it comes to relating to these spirits. But the more educated you can be, the more you'll be equipped to do something. And I want to congratulate you because you did do something. You said no when you could have been indoctrinated by these people.
And she takes the offer of going to with Dorothea, and you all say goodbye to your crew in Bergen. The ones that are left.
Back in Bergen.
And then you head back to Uppsala, where you gather your experience points and resources.
Hooray!
And how many did we get?
See,
we
I'm
didn't
looking
participate, so...
Exactly.
I wasn't asleep.
I'm doing the calculations right now. Yeah. I think, you're all... you almost did all of it. You were not affected by your dark secret, is the one thing that I didn't. Or were you? I don't even think I remember your dark secret.
I would say Henrik was a little bit affected by his dark secret, just with like the religion stuff, because the reason he fell out of Christianity was due to his experience. So I think bringing up Christian, like he takes the cross and stuff, but he's like, this isn't who I am anymore.
All right, so that enough to convince me. So you get 8 experience points.
Oh shit!
Wow.
I would say that I confronted my dark secret.
Up.
No, I would though. Just because of her relationship to her spirituality and what that's rooted in, which I don't want to give too much away. But in this feeling of like always stretching a little further than she should into, trying to understand the unknowable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. I have like 8 experience points.
Yeah, 8 experience points for me.
I feel like we did do a good job on this.
Yeah, I think so too.
10 out
I
of
mean,
10.
it was
8
a
out
lot
of
of
8.
fun. It was a lot of fun to
I had
play.
a lot of fun.
Blasty blast.
And you guys, it was really fun.
Can you hand me your pencil for a second just so I can mark down these
Absolutely.
points?
You get some money as well from the officer that
Sweet.
gave you this role. And how much we can talk about between episodes. Mostly because I also have to make it make sense. So I don't give you like a palace. Okay. You are back in Uppsala. And you successfully went on a mission that paid. You got to...
We got money.
How much
as
money?
actors... Damn it.
Sorry.
We as actors can understand what it's like to have your first paid gig.
Yeah.
It's a nice feeling. Doing something that you love, and I'm sure Henrik especially loves his new job as some sort of occult private detective.
Yeah, he's getting more used to it now. Like he's in the routine. They get back to Castle Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's like back from the trip, like gotta get back into the swing of life until we get another Vassen mission. Basically, like he's kind of used to it now. So yeah, I think Henrik's gonna get another weapon with his money, which is weird for Henrik as a character, but now like knowing that he's become this like Vassen private detective and almost dying, I think he wants to get a sword.
I also think we should get some kind of like outfit, like an armored outfit.
That's a excellent idea, Astrid. I should probably get some protection for my weak body.
Right.
My human form.
Mostly your like ear.
A little shield for my ear.
Look up.
You have dinner that night in Uppsala.
Oh shit. Okay.
With your husband Johan.
Husband's home.
And Alget is providing
Johan.
food for you guys. But
Yeah.
and you I would assume that at this point you're inviting him to join you for dinner, even though he thinks it's highly unprofessional
Of course.
and inappropriate for a butler to eat with the lady of the house.
She says you'll buttle as you did before. Just come on now.
Fine. I have been wanting to eat this steak for a long time.
He just looks at it.
And he joins you, and Johan is like, so, tell me, how was Norway?
Cold.
Yeah, I've heard that about Norway.
Yeah.
It was cold. No sun.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, heard that too. I was in Greece. Phenomenal.
It sounds really nice.
I imagine it wasn't cold. Why don't you tell us about Greece?
Yeah. Did you get everything done for the business that you needed to have done?
Yes, I
Wow.
certainly did. I went to the Athens.
The Athens?
The
one and
Athens.
only?
Instead of like the Athens, the other one. What was my accent?
Yep, the Athens, and I saw the ruins.
The Parthenon?
The Parthenon. Yeah, no, it was great. The Greeks are great. Good people.
That's what I hear.
I got some sun, and he
You
has
heard
a
it
slight
here
tan.
first, guys. We shit on America, we shit on Sweden, we shit on Norway, but the Greeks
Pro Greece.
are great.
Pro
Well,
Greece.
and
Pro
Sydney
Greece.
knows this, but I think an unaired episode of another podcast we're doing, I accidentally shit on Greece for.
I think you did. I think you did. We're making enemies just
and
everywhere
right.
we turn.
Yeah.
But Johan has a slight tan, so he's quite charming
Yeah.
to you, and so you might be feeling a little lucky tonight, Astrid.
Yeah. Well, there's like a... What's his vibe? Like, is he upset that we were gone for so long?
No, he's the chillest dude you've ever met.
Yeah. So she's just gonna tell him that, it was challenging and it was so very cold, but we were able to see icebergs, and just like describes everything they saw from the journey, and then describes it as like a hunting trip. And she talks about this big bear that attacked the camp, and how she was able to shoot the bear.
And Henrik
Yeah.
is sitting like kind of not trying to make any facial expressions, which probably looks weird. Like he doesn't look like, oh no, she's lying. But he also isn't like, it was great. He's like sitting there and he's like, if I don't move, I don't have to add to this story.
Johan is quite literally eating it up, and it's just that's great, honey.
Yeah. But I feel like Thor is also like super happy to see Johan, is just like begging at the table for scraps and just like missed his dad.
I think Henrik is also happy to see Johan. It's just like normalcy. Like Johan is so normal. He's just like
painfully
talking
normal.
about like business stuff, and Henrik is like, never thought I'd want to sit through this type of conversation, but it's such a reprieve from the other shit.
A simple man with simple opinions. Like he has no. It's like his comments are based on just the day and age. Like he doesn't even think about. Like he is.
That's
just like this is
why
I'm
I
adding
chose
conversation.
him.
A couple of days goes by. Algot announces some mail is arriving.
Oh,
And I
like a person or like
Is
a
it
letter?
from the letter that we wrote?
yes
to Abigail?
So you started some correspondence with Abigail Johnson, where she's just saying, "I'm sorry, I heard what happened to Franzebold, but I won't be in Uppsala until the summer because I'm in America and I can't fly." So with the gemstone that you found, you might want to wait till she's here to further investigate that.
Was she? Yeah. I got something about that.
Maybe we write another letter to her though, and just let her know like as soon as you can come, do
we
it
have
because we
work for you.
have a gemstone in our possession now.
Okay, cool. And I think so
Let's say we do that and we mail it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I draw a little picture of what the gemstone looks like.
Oh yes.
What are the little Vetir?
Yeah.
What are their names again?
Horn.
Horn.
And toss.
Until she's able to get here, I think we should follow Franzebold's lead. Maybe we leave our most treasured items that we don't want in the hands of anybody else who might come after them or think we might be in possession or know too much about things. Maybe we give them to our
In the
friends
bathroom.
downstairs.
Oh,
What?
what did you say?
What were you saying? No, this is far more interesting. What?
No, Astrid, what? Sorry, what were
I was thinking we would talk with Horn and Toss and get them to hold on to it.
Of course, Horn and Toss.
What do you hide in the bathroom?
Nothing's hidden in the bathroom. Henrik is thinking of the cocaine that he is taped under, like, hidden
Oh my
underneath the sink. And realizes that, like, he should not have said the bathroom. Like, that's where he hides stuff.
Yeah.
And he just goes, Horn and Toss are exactly who
Right.
should hold on. You're talking about the gemstone.
Yes.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
I just think, you know how, as a private detective,
Your privates.
no.
Oh.
Folks will keep things in their bedside drawers. Always the first place a burglar will check.
Right. That's not the
My advice,
bathroom.
what my advice to them is to move it to the bathroom. It's harder to get to. It's not the first place a burglar might check. But what you said is smarter.
It's true.
Horn,
A lot of people hide things in the bathroom.
Horn, how long have you been listening?
Oh, I've been here the entire time. I can't
I
believe you
don't-
didn't see me
I
yet.
never do.
No one ever sees me.
He's
No one
so-
ever sees Horn.
He's so small. Horn, would you be willing to possibly take some items?
Oh, no, sure, of course. Is it the blue gemstone you have in your pocket? I saw you bring it in earlier.
That's fine. Yes, it is. It's that. That is exactly what I'm going to give you.
And Horn, just to be clear, don't tell anybody that it's a blue gemstone when you have it. It's a
Absolutely.
secret.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Your secrets are
only,
safe with me.
the only people that you should ever give it to, myself, Henrik. You don't want it?
No, I was waiting for you to say someone else
Oh.
and for me to say don't.
Well, I just, in case we die
Aye.
and someone needs to carry this out,
Aye.
do we have like a next of kin situation?
Well, Astrid, we're not married.
No, not us. No, I mean, we should pick somebody else. Franz picked us.
I don't... Who else would it be? I don't really trust many people. No offense. I mean, Johan
We
is
might have
nice,
to
but-
amend this agreement later, but for now, myself or Henrik. No one else. No matter what.
Your wish is my command.
Thank you.
And he walks away with the gemstone.
Yeah. Great. These dungeons are looking more and more useful all the time. Wonder what else we could put. You know what? It's like that's a whole thing.
It's a whole other episode.
Yeah. Astrid redoes the dungeon.
I know.
She
I was like,
decorates
redecorates the dungeons. She'd do it too. She would.
Yeah. She'd make it spotless.
Yeah. Well, what to do next? And I think we haven't really plumbed the depths of the pamphlet about the mine.
I almost forgot we had it. Do you have it?
You took it.
Aye.
It's in your pocket.
Aye? And he reaches in. Is it in his pocket?
I don't know, man. You got it from the ball.
Yeah,
I'm trying to help you.
No, I know. But Henrik he checks his current pants pockets and he's like, I didn't bring it to Norway. And he goes, hold on. And he goes upstairs to find the pants that they were in. And he does find it. He had put it into a drawer or something with a bunch of other stuff. His junk drawer. And he finds it and he brings it back down. And he opens it up.
Yeah, so I don't remember what I said about the mine. I think what I told you is that it was an awful accident that happened. Sabotaged by the local population.
Yep.
Is the running theory.
10 years ago, basically. Or no, so 13 years ago.
13 years ago,
10 years before the prologue.
And I think the information I did not tell you is that the minerals that have been found there
have been found elsewhere.
Nowhere else in the world.
Nowhere else in the world. But there are other like mines in the area, but this is the only mine that has this type of mineral.
That's what they're thinking right now, because based off of fragments they've found close to the mine, it seems to be all originating from this mine. They're funneling a lot of money and military into this endeavor. And so they're seeking investors, but it's it's important to them that it remains Swedish. So it's some sort of call to action for Swedish nationalism, it seems to be. Which always ends up well when white people do that. Okay, was there anything else you wanted to know about the pamphlet?
No, I feel like we're still figuring out more, and there's more clues. There's more clues to be discovered, I think, about the gemstones before we deal with the mine.
Oh, yeah.
So
Algot walks in.
Hey, buddy.
It's daytime.
Not this fucker.
Daytime the next day, and he's like, Henrik, there's a letter for you. And you can see that it's Effie's handwriting.
Is Astrid there?
Yeah.
He's not, I mean, like, he doesn't hide anything, but he takes it and he has a moment seeing the handwriting. And he says, it's Effie. And he cuts it open.
So fucking Irish.
Just like, I've been so excited that you guys have been distracted.
It's gonna be Irish with a Swedish accent. Henrik, I am leaving you. I'm starting a new life with a new man. He loves me. He loves me in a way that you apparently can't. I need you to sign these papers and do not make this more difficult than it has to be. I wish things were different. Yours, Effie.
Like a gasp. He just, mouth open, holding the letter, can't move, can't speak.
Thor is like very tuned in the way that animals are, and just comes over and sits next to you, just like expectantly with the big Thor eyes.
Henrik gets up immediately, like can't even be around.
Yeah.
Walks out of the room, walks up to his bedroom, takes out his suitcase, starts packing it immediately. Throws whatever. He doesn't even have that much now that he's living comfortably. He has like other shit, but he just throws a bunch of clothes in, his books.
You're noticing there's some drugs left on your table that you forgot to hide.
What kind of drugs?
Molly.
Henrik does ecstasy and has a party.
Yeah.
He takes the drugs, holding them, and then he pops a bunch of whatever they are, throws in his bag.
So, as you do this, I would like to... She was intending to, like, wait a minute and then follow him upstairs to make sure he's okay. But I feel like it's like that camera shot where it's like through the cracked door. She's just seeing the moment of like taking the pills off the desk and like popping a bunch of them. And I don't know if like, I feel like now she feels like she's intruding, so maybe that's a stealth roll. I don't know.
How about you roll both observation and then later stealth, just to
See what
if
I see.
Exactly.
Yeah. Love that. Okay. A single success.
Yes, so you don't see what it is, but you see that he's stuffing something into his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And for a moment, get some sort of rush from it. That seems to calm him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the stealth.
I'm working on it. All right, so I got 5 for precision, 3 for stealth, 1 success out of all of those dice.
Yeah, so you can do whatever you want if you want to stay and watch like a fucking creep, or but you're not. You're not noticing Astrid.
She waits until he's done sort of like mastering himself, and she sort of stands there at this literal precipice, and then closes her eyes really tight and thinks about it, and then just quietly knocks on the door.
Yeah, and just as she was knocking, he had gone to the bathroom, took his other drugs, put them in the suitcase, and he was literally opening the door.
Yeah.
As you're knocking.
Yeah. What's wrong?
I have to go back to Waterford.
Is it your mother? What is it?
No. It's Effie. I have to go back. I have to talk to her.
All right. All right. You seem out of sorts.
Astrid.
All right.
Please move out of my way.
No, of course. Yeah.
And he's on edge.
Yeah,
he doesn't yell at you, and you're like, why are you yelling at me? Like, this is not normal behavior.
Yeah, I think she understands how not normal it is, but she's also like a little bit freaked out, by you in this kind of crazed state, because you seem obsessive in a way.
Yeah, he's like a bit manic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agitated
and she doesn't know really how to deal with that. So she just kind of like steps out of the way, just her mouth sort of like trying to form some sort of sentence that will stop you from leaving. Or at least leaving like this.
When the drugs kick in. And it's like because of your emotional state, mixed with these drugs, mixed with whatever else you might have been taking the past 24 hours, you feel very dizzy all of a sudden, as if your heart is about to explode. You observe this, and with very little margin, manage to get him back inside into his room and on his bed, and you faint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That night, you are visited by the now familiar night terrors, and you're shivering. Your entire body is shivering. You are not with him anymore because you figured it's better that he sleeps it off, and you'll talk about it in the morning. And frankly, I don't know.
It would be super weird for a married woman to just be like, I'm going to sit by this man's bedside.
The whole night. Yeah.
The whole night.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think she definitely moves to... it's like, God, what is that scene in Shakespeare in Love where the maid is like sitting outside? Like, I think she moves a chair and a reading light and a book into the hallway.
You're like sitting like slightly down the hallway, but you're like, I'm nearby.
Yeah, just in case something happens, because she also knows that like he is visited by spirits constantly, and she doesn't feel like he's in a safe space to put up those guards that she talked about the last time that they were talking about, like it's about permission, it's about like steadying yourself in the face of these things, and he's now vulnerable.
And Henrik, you're currently finding yourself on a graveyard, watching a couple of men lowering a casket into the ground. You're holding your wife as you watch the burial of your son. And as you look down at her, to comfort her, she's suddenly gone and replaced with Susanna, whose sad brown eyes are looking up at you. And suddenly you are in her bed, Susanna's bed. Henrik, Tell me about the summer again. And you do.
We would sit on the cliffs, facing the vast ocean, feeling the lush green meadow underneath, and we'd smell the floral blooms around us. Maybe we'd see a rainbow, and we'd always make a wish.
You make love with her, and she would give you one of her rare smiles. You cradle her, and then suddenly she looks at something behind you. Watch out! And as you turn, it's the woman in white, standing there, reaching for you as her body starts to rot and her skeleton fingers is just reaching your throat. And you wake up. Meanwhile, Astrid,
Sure.
as you're sitting there, thinking about things, I mean, you're kind of bored, honestly, because...
Yeah, I think she sort of romanticizes, like, I'm going to help. I'm going to be there. And really the reality is, I'm going to sit in this chair for 12 hours.
It's so fucking boring.
In a
Yeah.
fucking corset.
Around,
reading a book that I'm now tired of because I can't think straight because I have concern.
So around hour 7.
Yeah. And like any bisexual, she can't sit in a chair the right way.
Is she? You know.
Yeah, she just like has
One
her
foot
legs.
up
Yeah,
and
one foot up, one foot down. Like,
God, that meme
Yeah.
is so good. And
I know,
also,
it's
I feel so seen.
yeah.
But as you're sitting there thinking, trying to find any comfortable position, trying to think about things, there is this memory that just keeps popping up inside of you, and it won't leave you alone. And we zoom in on Astrid's eyes, and then we see a young Astrid, possibly 7 or 8 years old. She's standing in a hallway next to a slightly opened door. Inside we hear concerned and angry voices, one of them familiar to us by now. The girl deserves to know. If you do this to her, she will forever be wondering and possibly blame herself. Trust me, I know what that is like. A woman answers. She won't understand. It's better this way. I think this is better. It will keep her safer. I wish you would leave us alone. I can take care of my own family. Please leave now. Very well. The door opens and Francibald steps out. He notices Astrid. My sweet girl, I just wanted you to know. That Francibald was just about to leave. Say goodbye now. And the man who you recognize as your own father, Astrid, and your mother is standing in the doorway. Francibald bows his head. And then he leaves. And we'll continue this next week.
Woof.
Rough night. Thanks, Ellie.
Thanks, Ellie.
Let's do some Molly. Get